various industries and various companies have different levels of success. And even maybe within those companies, different teams have different levels of business outcomes they can deliver. What are some trends you see in terms of what are some of those teams that are doing really well, or what are some of the things that happen to the teams that are having challenges?
So when you forget to focus on the basics and go back to the root of, or the core of anything, that's where you start getting challenged. Challenges always come by the complexity that people bring into anything we do. Best teams, and it doesn't have to be an agile team, best team, if you go back and think, what's the best teams I've been on, even if it's a sports team or even if it's a group of friends, why it's the best team you've been in and what the interactions you had to make it that great for you. How did you govern that enterprise or that team, and what are the boundaries around it? How did you define it? And you get to actually recognize that a lot of it's human behavior more than anything else, and human interactions. And this is what we actually forget when we're trying to do agile. I did agile before agile was even agile. We did rapid application development in the 90s, late 90s, and before even the manifesto came out and said this is how agile is defined, we knew these are things that are good for us. It brings people together, it helps us to define value, it helps us to drive change, it helps us to evolve, it helps us to innovate, and we should do them as a team to be able to collaborate properly and move the goal the way we would like to. So agile just came and maybe created some type of I'm gonna call it a loose guidelines for us to go with some of the principles, and where we start going in trouble is when we start creating the frameworks around it and we start to create a religion for agile versus really keep it the spirituality aspect behind it. If you go always back to the spirituality aspect behind it, you're you're in good hands. If you actually go into the religious aspect, and that's probably the best way to describe it.
Then you're in safe, but in the different spelling of safe, right?
Exactly. Then in a different safe, and it's not that safe.
Yeah, sure. That's so amazing that you put it that way, because I think most of us want to be helpful, and we forget that, if you think about how the best way to earn trust is by giving trust, and trust and vulnerability are related, and asking for help is like an act of vulnerability. So if you show that, then you're showing like, hey, I'm letting my guard down.
Yep.
And maybe that's going to encourage. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, letting your guard down is the key behind anything. Getting drunk with somebody lets your guard down, right?
Yeah. So chemical to do that.
So yeah, exactly. But also there's other ways. People don't drink. Yeah, there's other ways to find it. There's maybe sports that you like together, or there's an activity, there's a show. There's so many different things that comes in mind. Yeah.
Subscribe to the podcast to get future episodes as soon as they're published. If you find this helpful, give the podcast a 5-star rating on your podcast app or hit that like button on YouTube.